Hello, and welcome to the NFL Contest Show. I'm your host, Jesse Flynn. Well, we've wrapped up the first half of the NFL season. Week 9 went another positive 4-1. So it's really helped bring the end of the first half of the season to a positive note. After 9 weeks, sitting at 31, 13-1, that's 31 and a half points. Just 2.5 points behind the first place leader. So it's looking really good. On pace to hit the 60-point goal that I set at the beginning of the year that I thought would put me in contention for the $1 million overall prize. So it's going really good. Just want to try to keep that positive energy flowing into this is the beginning of the third quarter and the second half. So every game matters this week forward. So let's get into week 10, see which 5 games I like, because there's definitely some interesting lines that the books put up. They've really got some big-time favorites, some big-time numbers to choose from. So let's look into it and see which 5 games I like for week 10. So the first game that I like is the Buffalo Bills. Minus 11.5 going out to New Jersey to take on the New York Jets. I think everybody saw the incredible game that happened last week where the Buffalo Bills lost outright to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was an interesting game because it really knocked out a lot of people out of the Circa Survivor contest. That was one of the top choices last week. So that was pretty shocking to a lot of people. But this is the NFL, and those type of games are going to happen. But I just think the Buffalo Bills are a much better team than the game they played last week. We've seen this offense put up plenty of points in the past, and the defense, they did hold the Jaguars to only 9 points. This defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL, particularly against the pass. Now we've got the New York Jets coming in. A team that gave up 45 points last week to the Colts. They gave up 54 points to the New England Patriots a few weeks ago. And I'm just not sold on this Mike White, their backup quarterback. The guy comes in, he has one really good game, and everybody wants to put him up there like he's the next Tom Brady or something, and I'm just not feeling it. I just don't think he's played the caliber of defense he's about to face against the Buffalo Bills, with guys like Tre'Davious White back there. I really expect this defense to get a couple turnovers in this game and help get this points up there. I think the Buffalo Bills they'll probably score somewhere around 35 to 38 points. So I think they should be able to cover this big number pretty easily. And there's a trend that teams that were double-digit favorites that lost, that are a double-digit favorite again the following week. It's not a very big sample size, but teams that fall under that category cover the spread about 80% of the time. So I just think this sets up well for Buffalo to get back on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm just not sold on the New York Jets offense all of a sudden becoming some kind of juggernaut just because this backup quarterback had one good week. So I just really like the Buffalo Bills here. I know this is a big number at 11.5, but I'm comfortable laying that kind of number because we've seen this Jets defense just give up points. Their secondary's been ravaged by injuries. They're just not very good. I just don't think Shala, their head coach, he just doesn't have the team that he needs to run the type of system he wants defensively, with this being his first year. And I just think the Buffalo Bills are due for a get-right game, and I think they're going to take it out on the New York Jets here. So for my first pick, Give me the Buffalo Bills minus 11.5. So the next game that I like is the Seattle Seahawks +3 heading out to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Now it looks like Russell Wilson's going to be back for the Seahawks, and I don't expect him to be very rusty. If there's any player in the NFL that keeps himself prepared, it's definitely Russell Wilson. We saw that, while he was rehabbing after the surgery on his finger, he was actually going through simulated games on the Sunday before the game that he wasn't going to be playing in. So we know that he's going to be ready to go. He's not going to miss a beat. I think he'll just ease right back into the system, and he'll have this Seahawks offense playing well. I think he's actually going to be motivated to play well this week to show everybody that, he's back. And for Green Bay, I don't think Rodgers is going to play in this game. Even if he does qualify by, passing the COVID protocol on Saturday, I just think that they're not going to push it with everything that's going on with them as far as the investigation by the NFL. They'll just allow Love to play in this next game, and it also gives them another opportunity to see just how Jordan Love, does in a live game. So why not give him the opportunity to play this game? It looks like right now the Green Bay Packers are comfortably ahead in the NFC North, so there's not really much to worry about as far as winning the division. Now, obviously, every game matters in the NFL, but they've also got to see, exactly what they have from Jordan Love. We saw that he, struggled in the game against Kansas City. Let's see how he does one more week. Give Rodgers an opportunity to get past this COVID issue and get prepared for the following week. And even if Rodgers does play, I still like Seattle because he did have COVID and, he's been isolated. So I don't know how much workouts he's been doing, what kind of throwing routine he's got going on. And it could have some kind of effect on him, as far as his playing ability as he works himself back into shape, to be ready to play in these NFL games. So I just think that the Seattle Seahawks, they should be able to run the ball against Green Bay. Green Bay's been, I think they're perfect against the spread this season, or they're 8-0. So, eventually that's going to come to an end. And I just think that this is that spot. I see the Seahawks being able to score some points. They'll be able to run the ball against Green Bay. Their defense has been advantageous, but they're due for a regression. Their special teams for Green Bay is really iffy. They can also be a cause for concern in this game as they look pretty rough on the special teams, especially when it comes to covering kicks and punts. So I just think this is a good spot for Seattle. I like the fact that Russell Wilson's coming back. They're getting points down the road, but I think that'll be fine. The weather isn't really that much of a factor, so I think they should be okay. So for my second pick, give me Seattle +3. So my third pick is the Cleveland Browns +2.5 heading out to New England to take on the Patriots. I just think that this game sets up well for it's two really good defenses going up against each other. I just think that the Cleveland Browns have the better offense. The New England Patriots offense has really been fortunate with some of the points that are being scored, non-offensive touchdowns by the defense. Their special teams has really come through for them, which is, typical of Bill Belichick's teams. But I just don't think they're going to be able to rely on Mac Jones to win them games. I don't even think he threw for 200 yards last week. They've been really run heavy, reliant on Damian Williams. But right now he's in the concussion protocol, as well as their third string running back. So it looks like they could be pretty thin at the running back position. And again, that means that they're going to have to rely on Mac Jones to throw the ball in order to score points in this game. And I just don't think they're going to be able to do that up against this Cleveland Browns defense that's one of the best at getting after the quarterback. I think Myles Garrett could have a field day going up against this New England offensive line and could be in the backfield going after Mac Jones all day. Now, the New England defense, they're also really good, but I just think that the Cleveland Browns, they're a well-balanced offense. They should be able to run the ball. I don't know if Nick Chubb's going to play in this game, but I'm still comfortable if it's Dearness Johnson, because running behind this offensive line for the Cleveland Browns is really the key factor in this game, because they'll be able to open up holes against this New England defense and allow whichever running back is in the game to gain positive yards and to open up the lanes for the play action pass for Baker Mayfield. And he should be able to get the ball to his tight ends. I don't know, if the wide receivers will have as big of a game as they have in other games, because New England does cover their wide receivers well. They like to play man-to-man a lot. But I think Baker Mayfield to be able to take advantage of the underneath throws to his tight ends and to the running backs. And I just think that this sets up well for Cleveland to put together a win streak here. They've been pretty good on the road against the spread this season. I believe they're 3-1 so far. So I like, the fact that they've been able to cover the spread on the road. And I just think they'll be able to win this game outright. I've actually bet this on the money line. In the Circa, they're getting 2.5. So I think that's also kind of a fishy line, because it's giving you New England, but you're laying less than a field goal. So it just seems a little fishy that they would make it at -2.5 and not -3 like they did in some of these other games. So I just feel like this is a good spot for Cleveland. Again, this is two good defenses going up against one another, and I just feel like the offense for the Cleveland Browns gives them a better opportunity to score points and to win this game. So for my third pick, give me the Cleveland Browns +2.5. So the fourth game that I like is the Minnesota Vikings +3 heading out to LA to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. I just think that this matchup bodes well for the Minnesota Vikings. They've been a really snake-bitten team this year. They've lost a few games in overtime. They've been in almost every game they've played this year, and yet their record just doesn't reflect it. They've lost so many one-score games. But I just think that this matchup going up against the Chargers that we've seen struggle against the run, and a team like the Vikings that, can run the ball with Madison and Cook, can really take advantage of their opportunities in this game against the LA Chargers defense. And it should open up the play action pass for Kirk Cousins to get the ball to Jefferson and Thielen and, be able to put some points on the board, something they've struggled at times. And we've seen, the LA Chargers offense, they still struggle. They're still having to convert third and longs. They're still having to go for it on fourth down quite a bit. They had 4 tries last week, converted 2 of them. So we're seeing that they're still not moving the ball consistently. They're still struggling in the red zone. And I think those fourth down conversions, if they don't work out, can really come back to haunt you. And I think that that's the type of thing we might see in this game. And we know that the Vikings right now, they're desperate, so they're willing to pull out all the stops in this game. They can't afford to lose another game. So I think Coach Zimmer is going to have his team motivated and ready to play. I think they're going to come out. They're going to really try to take it to this Chargers offense and take it to Herbert and try to make him make some mistakes. And I believe they're going to try to run the ball, control the clock, keep the LA Chargers offense on the sidelines, and try to take advantage of this weak Chargers run defense. So for my fourth pick, give me the Vikings +3. So my fifth pick is the New Orleans Saints +3 heading out to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. Now this is another one of those games where it's a game of matchups. We've got the New Orleans Saints, the #1 rush defense, one of the best defenses in the league, going up against this Tennessee Titans team that's been on a roll the last few games. They've been covering the spreads and winning outright, but they've been really fortunate. Their defense is certainly help them capitalize on some of their turnovers by scoring points off the turnovers or putting the offense in really good position to score points. And as good as that is, it's not something that it doesn't tend to happen every game. So when you're living off the turnovers, if you're not getting those turnovers, it really could hamper your offensive productivity. And I think that's what we might see in this game. I think the New Orleans Saints offense, they looked good last week against the Falcons. It was just, that was a very weird game the way that played out, where the Saints ended up actually taking the lead, but gave up a deep shot that allowed the Falcons to get into field goal position. But Trevor Siemian looked good. At quarterback, he spread the ball around. We saw Taysom Hill come in, and he, had a few plays. I think we might see some more plays from him this week. But there is one concern I do have, and that's whether or not Alvin Kamara is going to play, because he is a really important piece to this offense. Ingram's looked really good, since he came back to the Saints, running the ball, which allows them to flex Kamara out as a receiver, which is where his skill set really, shines. So I am going to be keeping an eye on his status. And if Kamara's not going to play, I may be changing off from this game and moving on to a different game. But as far as I'm concerned, if he's going to play, I like the Saints in this game. The Tennessee Titans, again, they're, without Derrick Henry, they really didn't need to run the ball last week against the Rams, because Stafford basically gifted them 14 points in the second quarter, and the defense was able to pin their ears back and basically come after them and get pressure on the quarterback, and they were just never able to get back into the flow of the game after the terrible start the Rams had. But again, I don't know if that's a formula for success in every game, because of the way they've been so fortunate to capitalize on these turnovers. I just think that the defense for the Saints will be able to keep the wide receivers for the Tennessee Titans in check. And without Henry, I don't think they're going to be able to use the play action to, against this Saints defense the way they have when Derrick Henry was in the lineup. So I just think it's a bad spot for Tennessee. I think it's a good spot for the Saints to get right after that bad loss at home. So for my fifth pick, give me the New Orleans Saints +3. So those are my 5 picks for Week 10 of the NFL contest. It's the start of the third quarter, and it's the start of the second half of the season. So every game matters. Really hoping to put together a 5-0 week to start this third quarter and continue on towards that $1 million first place prize. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's enjoy Week 10 of the NFL season. Make plenty of money, and thanks for watching.